Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I figured I'd start off with a little science, because I read, give me a second here, I read an article about some physicists in British Columbia who basically said that there's no way that the universe can be a simulation. They've proven that. They say basically that there's no algorithmic way to reconcile the Einstein's theory of relativity and the quantum mechanics. There's just no way to reconcile them. There is no such thing as a grand theory of everything. What's up, Raziel? How's it going, man? Yeah, I'm on time too. Oliver Rust, my boy, Greasebag. I love it when Greasebag shows up so I can say Greasebag. What's up? Jason Lamore, good to see you here, man. Glad you could make it. So, I was saying that some physicists in British Columbia basically just shot down the whole theory about the the universe being a simulation. They say it's impossible. They've proven it. It's impossible. Can't be a simulation because it cannot be run algorithmically, right? They can't reconcile the theory of relativity with the quantum physics thing. They can't be reconciled, not with an algorithm anyway. It's impossible. Laura Ann, hey, glad to see you here. Glad you could make it to a live stream. Oh, okay. All right, Greasebag. Well, glad you made it, man. So, this whole thing, if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I don't believe that, just the whole thing is the universe is like some kind of cosmic accident bullshit. I just can't buy into that. Now, whether it's a hologram or a simulation or something like that, or whether it's real, I mean, that part of it, I don't really care. I mean, who cares? Who cares? That's the wrong way to put it, because a lot of people do, probably, just not me. I don't give a shit if it's a hologram. I still got to go to work in the morning, right? So, Big Country, what's up? Glad to see you here, man. Who else we got here? Ezekiel. Hey, Ezekiel. Jennifer Andrews. Glad to see y'all here. Thanks for showing up, Jennifer. But I've done videos before, and I'm not trying to get this live stream too much into religion and stuff, right? But we should be able to talk about stuff without getting all butthurt over that kind of shit. Yeah, exactly. Stop wasting our time on nonsense, Raziel. Yeah. I believe that, and not only do I believe it, it just makes sense to my mind, that whatever the hell the universe is, it's by design, right? I mean, there is a designer. Whether you want to call it the Anunnaki or, Jesus Christ or Allah, whatever the hell, it doesn't matter for this conversation. It just seems to be by design. You know what I'm saying? And that whole thing, like the Big Bang, they try to say that, right? And then they teach us that shit in school like it's a fact, and it's not. I mean, let's be honest. It's a theory. It's and then they've got another theory called the if I can think of the name of it, the expansion theory or something like that, that they need to prop up the Big Bang Theory with, because the Big Bang Theory just doesn't work on its own. So they needed another theory to prop it up, and now you kind of gotten, like the turtles go just all the way up. You got all these theories propping each other up because the original one didn't work. Yeah, all right, Jennifer, I appreciate it. So, just in my mind, and the real thing that I get hung up on with the whole just completely atheist, everything's just a cosmic accident shit, is purpose. Okay, that's what I have. I get hung up on that in my head. So if it is just a big cosmic accident, then what's the point? Why even have a universe? What's the point in all this? Why am I even here? And to me, there has to be a point. There has to be a reason. There has to be a better reason for my life than to be just a consumer to, go out and and do all this inane shit every day so I can buy some more pointless inane shit, a bunch of plastic junk and I go down this rabbit hole like that, and I'm like, what the hell is the point? Why, there's got to be a reason, you know what I'm saying? There's got to be. And maybe that's me being naive, me being a little bit childish or whatever. But I can't unhang my mind. I can't get my mind off of that hang up, There's got to be a reason. Got to be a reason for the universe. There's got to be a reason for, for me and my life here, a reason for y'all to exist, there's got to be something more. To just have us, flicker and vanish like firefly lights, for no purpose at all. I just can't reconcile that in my head. Bucky, what's up, dude? Yeah, Oliver, no, I don't think we're here by accident. And maybe I'm not saying that what I believe in is 100% true. I'm saying I believe in it. That's just what I choose to believe in. It could be Anunnaki or whatever. But the further science goes, the harder they try to disprove a creator, the more they stumble into more proof of a creator. Okay, they just keep building up evidence, more and more evidence, mountains of evidence for the fact that there's a creator. Now, what the creator is, that's to each their own, whatever. But to just deny science and say, that science is bullshit, just to pick and choose your science around. I like to look at all of it, just everybody's interest and their views and their thoughts on it, and I just use common sense to kind of parcel shit out. And when you start drilling down into the fact that the universe is very specifically tailored to us, the weight of helium and shit were just off by 1/1,000,000th of a nano whatever, we wouldn't exist. It's insanely suited for human life, the entire universe. If just the atomic weight of one little thing was off, we wouldn't be able to exist. So that kind of stuff, Yeah, Ezekiel. The scientists in British Columbia, Ezekiel, they have claimed that they have proven that there cannot be a matrix, there cannot be a simulation or a hologram or whatever, all these different things they say. That's impossible. All right. They have proven that no algorithm can quantify the universe. It cannot be run on some kind of computer algorithm. It's just physically impossible. So that's and if you want to go read more about the subject, you can just Google it, physicist out of British Columbia, no simulation. You can just look it up and get, more detailed report than I'm giving. I'm just talking. I'm just talking with y'all how normal people talk to each other. I'm not a physicist. But yeah, that's basically what they're saying, and all that stuff, that people have been saying in the younger generations and stuff. They want to say they were actually in a matrix and or actually living in a hologram, and to each their own, as far as that goes. But when I thought about it, are we living in a matrix or a hologram? My just knee-jerk reaction was, well, God would, if God wanted to make it a matrix, he made it a matrix. Or if he wanted to make it a hologram, he made it a hologram. What the hell difference does that make? It doesn't change anything. You know what I'm saying? He made it how the hell he wanted. That's the way I see it. But, yeah, Raziel, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. That God, and I kind of have the feeling like kind of a theory of mine, Raziel, is that God is all powerful, but not necessarily all knowing. You know what I mean? Like God doesn't know what it's like to be big country, on November 4th, 2025, until big country is big country on November 4th, 2025. Now God knows, you know what I mean? Because he's experiencing it through big country. So, you know what I'm saying? So that is kind of, he's learning through us kind of thing. That's kind of, that's my own little personal idea I have. That might be heresy to a lot of people, and I don't want to piss everybody off and shit, but that's just kind of the feeling I get. Artiste, what's up, Artiste? We're talking about some deep shit today, Artiste. The history of the universe, simulations and holograms, and God. Or the Anunnaki, if that's how you roll. Arnis, what's up, dude? God made us, yeah. Well, that's what I believe. That's how what side of the line I fall on. I don't fault anybody for believing anything. You know what I mean? Vikings used to believe Thor and Odin and all that shit. That shit was cool. I was a big fan of Thor and Odin and Zeus and Apollo and all that stuff. So I don't hack on anybody for what they believe. Everybody believes their own stuff. But the only thing that really bothers me when it gets into that stuff is like, oh, thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, I get in. I go off in these directions. It doesn't seem very deep to me at the time, but I'm just, it's just my mind kind of going off and thinking about stuff. But I don't fault anybody for believing whatever they believe. I really don't. To each their own, So, but if we can all learn to appreciate each other's beliefs and just respect each other's shit without getting all pissed off, and kind of, as I was saying before, set an example. You might not believe what I believe. Who gives a shit? That's, I could believe that a giant rat, made us. Who cares? No skin off your nose. You know what I'm saying? But people get all pissed off and they're killing each other over that shit. So, yeah, it just blows my mind. Eden? What about Eden? Do I believe in the Garden of Eden? Is that what you're asking, Artiste? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's another thing, Bucky. I think that that's one thing that we will learn after we die is the truth. all things, will be opened up to us, and we'll learn the truth about everything. That's one of the. I don't really want to say I'm looking forward to. I'm not suicidal or anything, but that is going to be cool to learn the answer to all the questions I've ever had. All just that's going to be awesome. Yeah, Raziel. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't get all pissed off about it or anything, but just chill. If people start getting upset talking about God and stuff, then we'll change the subject. Who gives a shit? We can talk about something else. We're Gen X. We got all kinds of shit to talking about. Yeah, and yeah, greasebag. That's exactly what I'm talking about. See the big picture. When you die, you get to see the big picture. You know, you get now. You know what the universe. You get to look out and you know all the answers to all these questions. Why doesn't the theory of relativity and the quantum theory? Why don't they meld? Why do they reject each other? Why is that? The greatest minds on the planet don't understand that. They've been searching for that answer for over 100 years now, and nobody knows. Just the answer to that question will be awesome. I mean, I have a lot more than that, but that will be a cool one. Christopher SD9, what's up? Yeah, exactly, SD9. People killing each other over beliefs. I believe this. Or even worse, feelings. Holy shit, don't even get me started on that stuff. Let's just stick to belief. Yeah, people killing each other over beliefs. I believe this, and you don't believe it, so that makes you evil. So now you're my enemy. That kind of shit is crazy. Yeah, Florida is the fountain of youth. I believe it, Christopher. Yeah, I'm here. I'm still young. You got a caramel apple in your fridge right now? Raziel? Send me half of it, dude. If you're my buddy, you'd share that apple with me, bro. I don't have any caramel apple in my fridge right now. Yeah. Yeah, artiste, yeah. Yeah, just keep, just keep everything equal and open and, good conversation. We learn stuff about each other, learn stuff from each other. And that's the way the world's supposed to work, It is. All this shit, I don't want to get into all the stuff the government does, and all that shit right now, but I just know, I know for a fact that this world does not have to be this way. We have chosen this shit. All these big multi-conglomerate monopolies controlling everything, we have chosen this shit. We as an entire humanity, as an entire, species, we have chosen this shit. We have walked down this path with our eyes open. And not, some of our eyes are truly open and, we're unwilling passengers, put it like that. But still, humanity as a whole has chosen this shit. We keep letting these ridiculous leaders from, all the way back to Genghis Khan and his, all his wars and shit, and before him, all the way throughout history. We've let these fools run our lives and send us off to die and shit. So none of this shit is anything new. We've just got, our masters have gotten more sophisticated and hide in the shadows more. That's it. Yeah, 3 wars, 2 conflicts. Yeah, Oliver. Well, I'm glad you're still here, buddy. Oh, all right, Christopher. Yeah, yeah. I had to get a thing on my computer that'll enlarge the comments because I've got a big cluster of things. I can see pretty good at this distance, but the comment section is like little tiny on my computer, so I had to get a special program that'll what do you call it? Excuse me, magnify it. Yeah, I think so too, and that's what it was meant for, Jennifer, to connect people, like-minded people, and to share knowledge, you know, and to come together and to discuss things, and look what it's devolved into, all this hatred and bile and just the worst of humanity this internet has brought out in us. I mean, honestly, it has just brought out the worst in every one of us. It's insane. So, I mean, what little bit we can do, just even if we're not, you know, creating some you know, nirvana knowledge virus that we're gonna, you know, spread like wildflowers throughout the world, you know, here on Gen X Thinks. At least the hell, this is our little pocket of escape, where we can escape all that bullshit for an hour or two and talk to other people who have some damn common sense. You know what I'm saying? That just it goes a long way toward my, you know, mental health. To be honest, I'm just saying, you know, just to know that there are other people out there like y'all, seriously, like y'all, who have some common damn sense. It's not just all that internet crazy lunacy shit. So yeah, this is y'all are my therapists. Do I make my own artiste? Not no. Yeah, I mean, do I? I like to draw and paint. Yeah. I haven't recently because I haven't had time. But yeah, no, I love to draw and paint. Yep. I've painted and drawn quite a bit. Yeah. So yeah, I really enjoy it. What's hypertension, Christopher? I don't even know what that shit is. I've heard that word before, but I don't know what it means. I know what the hell hypertension is. You have to break that down for me. Florida Cracker, what's up? Glad to see you here, man. There's Underground. What you got to say, Underground? Let me get back there to you. Oh, okay. Get 99% positive out of the internet? Hey, you must not be on too much social media. Either that or you've figured out how to tightly control that shit so they don't throw you random crap. Jody Furnish. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're creating a community here. We can. I honestly think that we have only two options really that can amount to shit, Jody. And I'm putting a lot of thought into this stuff. I mean, we can keep voting in these federal elections and this shit, and it gets us nowhere. We've seen it for decades. So I honestly don't know, and I'm not bashing Trump or any, you know, but I don't have much trust in federal elections. But what we can do is to, number one, is to start electing local leaders and quit electing these damn lawyers who just go from, you know, lawyering to becoming a district attorney to senator. We've got to quit electing lawyers, period. I don't know if I have a lawyer in the audience right now, I hope you're a good person, but 99% of lawyers are straight up scumbags, and that's why they go to politics, because they don't mind robbing people and lying and thieving. We got to quit electing lawyers. I don't know how else to say that. 99% of our politicians, our elected officials, are lawyers. The Clintons were lawyers. Obama was a lawyer. They're all lawyers. We got to quit it. Start electing, I don't know, mechanics and shit to be small town mayors, and then if he does a good job or she does a good job, elect her to be county sheriff. And if she does a good job there, elect her to be governor, and raise people from grassroots up, good people, and stop electing these freaking lawyers. They're scumbags. That's my opinion. Again, I apologize if there are lawyers out there listening or watching or whatever, but you know it as well as I do. Just like transmission shops, they're thieves. They will rob you blind. I'm not hacking on mechanics. I'm just saying, those transmission shops, I've known people who've owned them and worked in them, and they're just devious thieves. So, the other thing I would say, the only other thing we can do to change anything is to vote with our dollar. We've got to start voting with our dollar. And that might be more important than the other. We've got to start voting with our dollar. We've got to stop supporting these companies who are what other word can we say than evil? They're soulless. They suck us dry. They steal our money. They promote these ideas that are horrible for our country, for our entire civilization. They're destroying Western civilization with this bullshit, and we got to stop supporting them. I don't know what else to say. We've got to. I mean, we could literally shut down. We could shut Amazon down. We could just quit buying shit from them. They would go out of business in a week. Amazon would file for bankruptcy. But we've got to stand together and start doing that shit. You know what I mean? And it's going to take a few of us talking to people, and they'll ask you where you get your shit from. Not Amazon. Well, how do you get your shit? Why don't you order from Amazon? Because Amazon is getting rid of jobs. They're horrible for our economy. They're firing people at record rates. They're putting in AI, and pretty soon it's just going to be one big robot hive mind thing that delivers us cheap Chinese shit, and I don't want to support that. So, we've got to start voting with our dollar. And I mean that's the most important thing, I think. And that's to answer one simple question. Jody's probably regretting it. She just asked, "What do we do?" And I went on a tirade. But that's my 2 cents there, Jody. So I hope that answered your question. Yeah, exactly, Fox in a Shed. Only a few professions where lying is part of the job, and lawyer, that's one of them. And if you won't lie, you won't make it as a lawyer. If you won't lie, you won't make it as a politician. Yeah, Fox hit the nail on the head there. Yeah, Oliver Rust, they're giving New York City away to whatever it is, Muslim, socialist, communist, whatever. New York City and what is it, Minnesota, Minneapolis or some shit like that. Yeah. Yeah, most won't. Yeah, Arnis, okay. Now, there are some good ones. I have a cousin who is a lawyer, and she is salt of the earth. You know what I mean? So, don't get me wrong. I talk about lawyers, and I know that I'm talking bad about some really good people, because there are some good lawyers out there, okay? There are lawyers out there who genuinely want to help people. So I'm not talking about them. Just like when I talk about boomers, I'm not talking about all boomers. But the majority of lawyers are scumbags. So the real dirt on Farmer John, I've never seen that, Underground. Yeah, Little Mogadishu, Raziel, yeah. Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah. But other states have no bearing on our day to day, and you're right about that, Christopher. But what they'll do, that's a foothold in our country. Okay, now you get a Somalian mayor or something, right, in New York City of all places, and they're just going to let Somalis flood into there. They're going to hide them from ICE, and it's not good. You know what I'm saying? It's not good for our country. We don't want to see any of these fools getting political power in our country. They have no skin in the game here. They don't, it's just one big what am I trying to say? It's just a place to come and milk it dry, right? They just come here and milk America dry. They milk the taxpayer dry and get us for all we're worth. And that's what's happening. And it's I for one don't like it. I don't agree with it. Yeah, there are good trailers to be had. Um, yes. All right, Jody. Yeah, there are loopholes in their game. Yeah, and we need politicians because all these lawyers. All right, we've got Republican lawyers and Democrat lawyers, and they pretend to fight each other, right? And they promise us, right, that they're going to do a certain thing. I'm going to do this. You elect me, and I'm going to do this. And then they get up there and maybe they do it, maybe they don't do it. Let's say they don't do it. So they come back for a re-election and they say, well, it was those damn dirty Republicans or those damn dirty Democrats that stopped me from doing it. But I got a hold on them now. You elect me again, and I'm gonna get it done this time. We got them right where we want them, And it's just a show. They just pretend to battle up there, and they'll when it comes election time, they'll hold up a couple of puppets for you, and you get to pick which puppet you like, and it's all a big fun and game, and and that's it. Now the way to fix that, it can't be fixed because the people who are benefiting from the bad are the ones who we need to fix it. The senators and the congressmen, they're not gonna implement term limits on themselves. They're not gonna do that. But they're the ones who we need to do that. We got to ask them to screw themselves, right? You're going to ask them, oh, hey, by the way, I don't think you should be, just sitting up there living off the taxpayer for 60 years. Maybe that's wrong. I think maybe we should put term limits in there. Oh no, those damn dirty Democrats will stop us from doing that. We can't even try. That's just a waste of time. Those damn dirty Democrats. You know what I'm saying? What needs to happen is that all the money for elections needs to go into one pool and divide it equally among anybody who decides to run. But what happens is you get one real, broke ass dude who's honest and legit, and he's just got a few bucks in his pocket, but he's trying to run and do the right thing. He's trying to get, but he doesn't have the big players backing him. So nobody even knows his name. But then you have a scumbag, most likely an ex-lawyer, who, George Soros and Bill Gates and them are backing him. They're throwing hundreds of millions of dollars into his campaign account, and you see him everywhere. Flags, bumper stickers, TV, commercials, all that shit. You don't even know that the other guy exists. So when you get to the poll, you're like, who the hell is this guy? Frank James Jr.? I don't know who that is. I'm going to check this, So you vote for the guy that you think you know. That's what the massive population does. And it shouldn't be that way. That should be illegal. For a billionaire to fund a campaign of one individual should be illegal. It should go into one big pot and all the candidates share it equally. So they all have the same chance at television time and that kind of shit, right? So if they don't have any money, then they don't get any TV time. Period. End of story. That was not the worst thing that could happen. Yeah, Clint Eastwood for president. Yeah, I'd vote for Clint. Do you feel lucky, punk? Yeah. Who can build a shelter right now? What are you talking about? I can build any kind of shelter. I can build a damn underground shelter. I can build a lean-to shelter. I can build a pine bough shelter. I can build all kinds of shelters. Oh, all right. Cover trailers are kind of expensive now, man. Well, they always have been. I'm sure they're a lot more expensive now. You're building a compound in Arkansas? Butt nuggets? Yeah. Yeah, that I've heard people are doing that. Coming together in groups and buying a big plot of land and just, like-minded people homesteading on there. So that's appealing. You know what I mean? Something like that. They got a couple places in Canada where they're doing it. Where was it? Virginia, I think. The ones that I've heard of. They're probably all over the damn place. Yeah, shelter building's essential knowledge, Fox. Yeah. Well, the Electoral College serves a purpose. It's basically, if you're popular vote, then you're a straight democracy. And that is not good, right? That's just not good. Nobody wants, no common person wants to live in a straight democracy. That's like saying, you want to live in a straight up socialism, under socialism. A democracy will trample your rights just as quick as any other form of government. The only reason we've made it this long because our democracy is as constricted and constrained as our government is, right? If you just unleash and let all these yahoos use the popular vote to pass whatever law they want, we're screwed. We are screwed. Yeah, point blank. We'd be dead in the water in 20 years. You won't recognize this damn place. No, so I believe in the federal college, or the electoral college, and in our constitutional republic. I don't believe that a straight democracy, mob rule is the answer. We as a people, starting back in the 1800s, we started letting it go. We started trusting the government too much and allowing them to have too much power. And that's basically what got us here. Yeah. Yeah, Razio. In a lot of ways we are. We're basically a corporate oligarchy through lobbying and shit, right? Lobbying. That's another thing, Jody. I could have said to Jody in her question, how do we fix it? We end lobbying. Now, but the people who are getting all the money from the lobbyists, they're the ones who are supposed to vote, Now, okay, who said that about getting rid of the Electoral College? I forget who said that. But here's the thing. They should put things like that up to the popular vote. Certain items that are dealing with our government, not each other, not the population at large, let the government deal with that. But the things that are decided for our government, should there be term limits? Should lobbying be allowed? These should go to the popular vote. Yes, they should put that on the ballot for us, and we decide. That's where you get it. So you get a balance. But should we go to war or different stuff like that? Should they just make up laws? Should a certain group of people be constrained and not allowed to participate in the economy and stuff like that? Well, people's own greed will tempt them to vote for that, right? That kind of shit. So yeah, but yeah, we're basically an oligarchy though, and lobbying is the big reason for that. And lobbying is just bullshit, because that gives somebody like Elon Musk 10 times more political power, now 1 billion times more political power than I have or you have, right? Elon Musk, Bill Gates, these ultra wealthy billionaires, they have way more influence over our government than you and I have. They can set up a shell corporation and have that corporation lobby all these politicians, throw a few $100 million at them, and get whatever law passed they want. And we all know this. Yeah, that's a good idea, Underground. Start your own little village with your people, yeah. Oh, yeah, butt nuggets, yeah. No, the Federal Reserve, yeah, abolish that. That's another thing. Just, yeah. That, there are some things that are just ruining our country, and illegal immigration is way down on that list. If you started really cleaning house in this country, you'd have to start with our own government, the people that are letting all the illegals through, and handing them our money. All right, that's the thing. They're handing them our money. Yeah, a lot. The federal government has taken way too much power over the last 50 years. Yeah. Yeah, she is. She helps me out. She decorated my little studio here for Halloween. That was cool. Yes. U.S. is a republic of states. Yes, Shannon. We are a constitutional republic. And it's served us well for a long time. It's just gotten out of hand. We've let our federal government get out of hand with that bullshit, all their crap, and and you can't. You want to say the government's bad, and I want to say the government's bad and blame it on the government and all that stuff, and they deservedly deserve all of our hate, all of our anger. They deserve it, okay, because of all the shit they do. But throughout history, the people of the United States have allowed this shit to happen. All right? It's like leaving all your doors unlocked in a parking lot and then go inside for 2 hours and come out and, somebody stole your watch off your dashboard. I mean, okay, yeah, the thief, I'm mad at the thief, but I should have locked that damn door. I know I should have locked the damn door. It's that kind of thing. But it's been generations. It started generations ago. And it's just getting worse. And now we find ourselves in Generation X as this little island of sanity in this sea of madness. And we're looking around, what the hell can we do? You know what I mean? What can we do? And that is the question. What should we do, if anything? Yeah, Raziel. Elon Musk is a confusing guy. Yeah, I'm on the fence with that dude. I like what he was doing with Doge and the government and all that stuff, but coming up with the chips in people's brains, he wants to put chips in people's heads and shit and all this. So I'm on the fence still with the guy. I don't know where the hell he is. Oh, all right, Razio. Yeah. Well, hopefully you can find a new Bonnie if you're looking for one. Yeah. The end of There's a King. Yeah, Jody. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right, Bucky. We wouldn't have said that a year ago, but it was true a year ago. It just wasn't. Maybe it just wasn't so obvious. I mean, I don't know. I can't. I don't know about y'all, but I have learned so much, and I'm learning so much now about all of the devious shit going on. All right, it's just devious shit, and with the whole Epstein thing and all that shit that happened, these Boeing whistleblowers, how they just get a case of life-ending depression all of a sudden before they can finish blowing the whistle, but nothing happens. Nothing happens. Apple, they they screw everybody's phones up over the internet. And people are crying about it, complaining about it, and finally it gets so bad that Apple finally has to admit, yeah, we've been screwing your phones up. Sorry, yeah, but you bought the new ones like we wanted. So our profits have been soaring. You had to take it in the ass, but my stock has risen quite a bit since then. So you can't really blame me. And what happened to the Apple CEO or any of that? Nothing. Nothing happens to him. Ever. Now, right now, if I go sit outside RT's house and flick up my laptop and I hack my ass off, I get some kind of hacking superpower, and I hack into his phone and shut it down, right, and screw his phone all up, and then go try to sell him a new one. Now, they would come beat my ass on the curb, throw me in a cop car, and drag me to jail without that wouldn't even be a question. But when Apple does it, the same exact thing, oh, that's okay. Not even that, but the people don't mind. Oh, so you just bricked my phone and forced me to buy a new $1,000 phone? Oh, that's okay. I love Apple. They can't do anything wrong. I love them. that kind of shit. So that's what I say about we got to start voting with our dollar. Either that or do nothing. Whatever. Vote with your dollar or not. Whatevs. Gemini VM her? I don't know what VM is. I don't know who Gemini is. I didn't know that happened, Artiste. I don't know. Probably. It wouldn't surprise me if someone you mean DM? Direct message? Nobody DM me or anything. People talk to me on the comment section. I'm not sure. But if somebody did, if somebody said some off the wall shit, my wife would get pissed. So it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, all that smart shit, dude. Your refrigerator sending shit to the internet, through the internet to their manufacturer and stuff. Yeah, everything's connected to the internet now. Everything's reporting on you. Mike Fleisner, my boy, what's up? Oh, that's what started it, the 1960 election? Yeah, that started in 1960, way before we were ever born. That does not, I'm not blaming us. I'm not blaming you for this shit, personally. But the Americans, and probably everyone across Western civilization, has allowed this shit to take hold, to take root inside of our government, in our society. We've allowed this shit over the generations, a little bit at a time. But I believe that the powers that be know that, right? So they just peck away at us. They peck away, right? That's why they can't just put a whole-on ban on guns, because they know that it'd basically be there'd be an altercation, a huge one across the entire nation. So if y'all ever wonder why I say shit like altercation and stuff like that, I'm trying not to piss off YouTube, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. But if I come right out and say certain keywords, YouTube will shut this shit down. So I got to be careful about what I say in those kind of instances. But people would rise up if they took too much, if they took too big a scoop of our freedoms. Then they would force people to rise up. That's what they do not want to do. They do not want to force you to rise up. They don't want to back you in a corner until it's so bad that you have to rise up, right? They don't want to do that. That's the last thing they want to do. So what do? They keep you mad at somebody else while they pick away at your shit. They'll just pick away at your cake while you're arguing with so and so over whatever. And they have the whole nation bickering like that while they're picking away at our cake, right? Passing these bills that are this damn thick, and page 294, there's all kinds of shit in there that's just raping us blind. But I'm too busy worried about what Joe Blow from Kokomo's doing, because he's online spouting some garbage. That's what I'm really worried about, not what the government's doing behind my back. That would take too much time and effort. Big country. All right. I'll tell her. I should get a kick out of that. All right, yeah, Raziel, I'm back. I'm with you, dude. The basic mechanical shit anymore. All of that weird online shit. Yeah, that stuff is for the birds. Your washer and dryer has Wi-Fi? Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know how much a washer and dryer can report, but did I do that video? No, I can't remember. I think it might be the video I just uploaded that's going to be live tomorrow. But I talk about a guy whose vacuum, one of those round automatic vacuum cleaners. I don't want to say the brand name. But it wasn't the brand name. I don't want to say the familiar brand name to let y'all know what I'm talking about, because I don't want to call them out, because it's not the guy. It wasn't that brand name, but it's the popular brand name. Everybody calls those round vacuums by that brand name, like we used to call every soda Coke. But anyway, it was tracking the guy's house. It was making a map of the guy's house and sending the information back to the company, right? So they're keeping that information on a server somewhere, the layout of the guy's house. And he was an engineer. I read an article about it. Yeah, a lot of boomers are deep in the thrall of politicians. I hate that for our country, but it's just the truth. Soda is pop. Butt nuggets? All right, pop. Yeah. Do I have a kick-ass home speaker system? Hell no. That shit costs money, dude. Nope, I don't have a kick-ass home speaker system. No. Uh, I got a used refurbished TV, and that's it. Zorg from Fifth Element. Yeah, I like that movie. That's one of the movies I've watched a bunch of times. Another one is what? Oh shit! Now I'm gonna mind blank. Oh, 12 Monkeys. 12 Monkeys. Love that movie. Yeah, that's the one, Laura Ann. The one your brother has. That's the brand name I didn't want to say. I don't want to get into saying brand names on here, and get yanked. Yeah, exactly, Mike Fleisner. That's what I'm talking about. Keep that shit. We buy. If you honestly think about it, what you need and what you don't need. I mean, need. We need water, food, shelter. These are basic necessities. Then our luxuries are the stuff we get to spend our time on that we like or whatever. But we buy, just Americans, we buy a bunch of useless Chinese shit. I mean, we just fill in landfills with just useless Chinese shit. And we're just sending our money over there to China, and it's never coming back. I don't know how else to say it. Yeah, Artiste, Brad Pitt, and Bruce Willis. You pusillanimous pretend friend to animals. Remember that quote, Artiste? Yeah, water is key. Yeah, butt nuggets. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. You got to take care of your water first. No, all right. Kennedy versus Nixon, Mike. Now, I've heard recently that Nixon was basically got the shaft. He got what's that called, framed and shit. He was a good president, trying to do his best, and they destroyed him. I don't know. I heard that from it. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Yeah. When my employer is my tax collector, yeah, Mike. Yeah, Talladega Nights. Yeah, I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew. I'll be on you like a spider monkey. Yeah. Yeah, underground, that's what I'm saying. Um, we got to just keep the money at home. I mean, if for no other reason than to just, give these huge corporations the big, double middle finger. You know what I'm saying? Just, who are these billionaires run around talking about what we should be? Who are they going to tell me, that about population reduction and start spraying shit on my food and bulldozing, literally, and I'm not making this shit up. This shit is happening. Bulldozing forests under the ground for carbon, to reduce whatever. All this crazy shit. And we support them. I just, sometimes when I think about this shit, I'm like, us, I'm not pointing at you, you guys individually and stuff. I'm talking about us as a population, humanity in Western civilization. What the hell are we doing? Why are we supporting these scumbags who are just lobbying our they take our money, give it to our politicians to screw us over and take more of our money from a different direction. It's just so ridiculous. It just blows my mind when I really start thinking about it. Oh yeah, butt nuggets. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't. There was slavery throughout human history, and even I didn't know it, but there were even white people were sold into slavery into Africa for a long time, which they don't tell you that shit. Yeah, Jody. Yeah. I mean, Jody's just being honest there. We need to tighten up, But the thing is, here was the thing with Gen X. All right, in my humble opinion, y'all can put down in the comments and call bullshit on it if you want. But Gen X isn't the group of people who are going to jump up on the rooftops and shout the shit. We're not going to dress up like chickens and tacos and, whatever else and go protest on the streets waving our little, flags and our banners and our, stickers and shit. And we're not, that's just stupid. Come on, what else do you want to, it's stupid. But what we can do is each individual decide to do everything they can and make better decisions in supporting companies with our dollar. We've proven we can do it. We proved it with Bud Light. We proved it with Cracker Barrel. I just wish we'd all come together, just Generation X, and just cripple one of those companies. Just shut them down. Because we could. We could put them out of business. They would go bankrupt if we wanted them to. All right? But that would take all of us. And we wouldn't even have to leave our couch. We would, everybody just, well, I'm gonna do some research and I'm gonna give my money to a company who's actually doing some good right now. And when that company one day veers off and starts doing some bad shit, we'll cripple them. We'll shut them down. We'll quit buying their shit. Van life. Yeah. Finance a bag of rice and a bag of beans. Oh, all right, artiste, yeah. Yeah, butt nuggets, exactly. That's the whole thing again, back to, we have allowed it, don't get me wrong, throughout the generations, just like I say, but they have turned us into consumers. Okay? Now, most of us out here, either we're recently retired, some of us, or we are now, out there slaving 40 to 60, 70 hours a week, somewhere in there, to pay the bills and to buy a bunch of shit from China. because nothing's produced in America anymore. You got to actually, I can't say nothing. Very little is produced in America anymore. You have to research and actually take some time to buy stuff that's made in America. And normally it's just, it's of vastly better quality but vastly higher priced. And a lot of that stuff, they market themselves like they're good all-American companies. I think it's Thorogood Boots. I was reading their advertisement, and and I thought about maybe one day getting some of those boots and trying them out for my work boots. But then I thought about it, I was like, maybe I should find out if these are made in America. Just because they have this American flag on their shit doesn't mean they're made in America. So I looked it up. China. Made in China. They have plans for the future, they said. And one day we're gonna start supporting American workers and have our stuff made in America. But so, one day, I'd like to know how long that little thing has been on their About Us thing on their on their webpage. How long? Now you got to drill down and find that shit. But how long has that been sitting there? A decade? One day we're gonna start making our stuff in America. So we just gotta quit giving all our money to China and Taiwan and shit, in my opinion. Yeah, Fox. Yeah. But we have to change that. Fox says that voting is about choosing who gets to extort us. Yes. All right. We have to change that. We got to start paying attention to the smaller local elections and raise some of these people grassroots up somehow, some way. Maybe somebody will hear this and actually spark I'm not going to do it. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to do it. I'm too busy paying the bills. So I'm not going to, go out there and find somebody and get them to run and support them, and go running around. I don't have time to do that shit. But maybe somebody out there does. So, and if you don't do that shit, I'm not, I'm not trying to convince people to do anything. I'm just saying that's one idea. Y'all can probably come up with better ideas than I can. Yeah, exactly. Econ and cohorts. Yeah, until states, counties, and cities change their regulations and taxation on businesses, nothing is going to change. Exactly. Taxation, basically, to me, taxation is theft. How else do you want to put it? Taxation is theft. They should be taxing businesses. Is there really a reason? And I'm not a tree hugging leftist, liberal crybaby. But is there a reason? Do we really need all these multi-conglomerate billion-dollar corporations? Why, for the benefit of Fox in a Shed and Econ and cohorts, for y'all's benefit, to help you, how does one corporation being able to buy another corporation, how does that help you? All right. Why? Why is that legal? Why is it legal for a corporation to be able to buy up all its competition? Strip it of its patents and shit, and just sell off the skeleton. Why are these monopolies allowed to exist? They're just these huge soulless machines that gobble up all the competition. How the hell can Microsoft just kick out 160 billion for whatever it was? It was something like that, some just insane amount of money for that company that makes Call of Duty and well, Activision, Blizzard, Activision, right? Something like that. That's it. That's sickening to me. Yeah, jerky. I love jerky. Venison jerky, beef jerky, all of it. Oh yeah. Yeah, Fox. The laws that give corporations personhood should be repealed. Yeah, that's the most ridiculous shit in the world. Another case of lobbying. These businesses pay politicians to pass this shit, and now corporations are these entities, that have all the rights of a human being. Literally all the right except the right to vote. But all the other rights they have. Yeah, of course. Of course you would. Econ and cohorts. Yeah, of course you would. If someone wanted to pay you millions for your small business. But how would that help the rest of the country? You'd have millions of dollars, yes. Now, if an individual wanted to pay you millions for your corporation, yeah, sure. Why not? Hell, but another corporation, another soulless entity, one soulless entity buying another one. No, why is that even okay? Why is that normalized in our heads? Why does that sound, Microsoft bought up another company, that's just normal par for the course. Why? Why is that normal to us? That should be illegal. It should be illegal for a corporation to buy residential real estate. There's no reason for that. They should not own residential real estate. They should not own farmland. There's nothing good to come from that for the people. Yeah, a lot of good to come from that from corporations. Yeah, their stock prices will go up, they'll make better dividends, and their CEOs will get bigger bonuses. But what's that doing for your common neighborhood plumber or your common neighborhood person, your soldiers coming back from war? How is that helping them? That Microsoft could scoop up another, $46 billion corporation. Well, how? How is that helping? Honestly, it doesn't. It just doesn't. It does nothing but harm. It makes these huge monopolies that now they control they control the price of the labor because they own it all. They control the price of the labor. They control the price of the product. They own it all. You want some, you've got to pay the right price. There is no, competition is what keeps everything just, what keeps everything equal. Oh, the Facebook page, yeah. All right, Fox. Let's see. I'll see what I can do. I don't keep up with it too much. Don't worry about the typos, artiste. Most of the time, I can figure out what you mean, in the context. Metal Gear, what's up, dude? Glad to see you here, man. No, I don't. No, not that I know of. Artiste. I don't think so. I don't think there's any kind of DM functionality on YouTube. Not that I know of. Jim Atreides. Yeah, it's a new form of feudalism. Yeah, they just figure out how to update that shit and sell it, through the propaganda and the brainwashing, and present it to the public with a new face on it and make you think that they're doing you a big favor. They're blessing you. They're bestowing you with kindness, or they're robbing you blind. Hunting? No. Could I set up a Discord server? I guess I could. Let me look into it, Shannon. Let me see. Okay, Discord server. I'm gonna write it down now. You see, y'all, Shannon's got me doing homework now. All right. Write that down. Somebody. But yeah, my overdue blockbuster movie. Oh no, my wife just moved it after the Halloween thing. She put stuff back, and I wasn't really paying attention where she put it. So yeah, she decorated for the Halloween episode, and then she put all the stuff back for me, and I just kind of sat down. I didn't even look up there to see. Yeah. Yeah, Mike Fleisner, that's where all that stuff started. That consumerism bullshit. It all started, and we were born into it, so that just seemed like a way of life. And these kids are born into this new shit, and it progressively gets worse. But when you're born into it, like this whole, these kids don't even know what it's like to just walk into an airport and get on the damn plane, because they've had the TSA their entire lives. They've never lived without the TSA. Life with the TSA is normal to them. That's ground zero to them. That's freedom to them. They think they're free with people patting them down and shit before they get on the airplane. Now us, we know better. You know what I'm saying? But still, even to us, it's becoming normalized. Normalization, the normalizing of this kind of shit, is one of the biggest threats to humanity, to Western civilization at least, because this shit gets normalized a little bit at a time. It takes a big thing like 9/11, and then they can normalize the TSA and the government spying on us, and then you have Edward Snowden jump up and tell everybody, hey, everybody, the government's spying on you. And we all look at him and, whatever, dude, yeah, okay. They're spying on us. Go move to Russia. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened. Nobody gave a shit. Who gave a shit? Nobody. When's the last time you heard anybody, talk about Snowden or any of that shit? Yeah, oh, me too, Raziel. Yeah, I'm not going through TSA. I don't give a shit. I'm not doing it. No. Nope. No. Yeah, I'll drive. I will drive. I will camp out at rest areas for a week. Yeah, I'm with you, Raziel. Yeah, drying meats. Yeah, Bucky, you're right. Yeah, Raziel, you're right. I forget how much I paid for my dehydrator, but it wasn't very much. They're inexpensive. Yeah, they're a good thing to have. Yeah, if I had more time, I would do more dehydrating. Seriously. You can make if y'all like that, like the dehydrated fruit and the trail mix and stuff, you can make just screwing around half-ass. You can make way better than anything you can buy in the store. And that's a fact. Yeah. Now, the best way to do it would be if you had your own fruit trees and stuff and whatever. But you can still go to the store and catch some stuff on sale, blueberries and mangoes or whatever, and dehydrate that stuff and make your own dehydrated fruit mix, and that shit's good as hell. Rusty Dude, what's up? Yeah. yeah, I see it all the time. All that shit gets normalized, Rusty. You know, they normalize that shit, and I keep saying we, but we as an entire population of Western civilization, not just the United States, Western civilization, we allow this shit to happen. And it blew my mind because I was talking to Laik. He's not here today because he's in Norway, but it's probably like 2:00 in the morning in Norway or whatever. But yeah, Laik told me how they clamped down after 9/11 in Norway. I was like, no, in Norway? Are you kidding me, dude? He's like, no, they went crazy after 9/11. I was like, what the hell? It happened in America. What that guy had to do in Norway? Oh, I don't know, but they did it. Yeah, so they did TSA and all that shit in Norway. They did it across Western civilization. Changed all the rules across Western civilization because of 9/11. I had no idea. So this isn't just like localized inside the United States. We have blinders on because we're here, and we're allowed only so much information to come from outside the United States, through the media and shit, right? They don't tell us too much about what's happening in Australia or other places, but stuff does happen, stuff that's important to us, and that's just the way it is. They keep us fighting amongst ourselves with George Floyd and all this other shit, and keep us fighting over politics and over illegal immigration and whatever, abortion, whatever, you name the damn topic, and they keep us fighting over that shit, right? They made them all political topics, all these cultural things that should be worked out within the culture. They've adopted as political hot topics because they know people are emotional about it. Point blank. Oh, Ezekiel, yeah, elk jerky. I bet that's good. I've never had elk jerky. I've had plenty of venison jerky. Oh yeah, Raziel, me too. I've already told you I make my own bread. I love fresh bread out of the oven. Woo, still hot and that butter melts. Ooh, I make whole wheat bread, and you have to buy gluten. You have to buy a little package of gluten. It's gluten, and it's a white powder you gotta put in there for the bread to rise. If it's whole wheat bread, I didn't know that shit until I started making bread. Put some whole wheat in there, and you mix it and you turn it on, and the buzzer goes off, and you go look at your bread, and it's like that tall. You know what I'm saying? And dense as shit. It's just dense. You could bounce it off the table, knock somebody out with it. What the hell? That ain't right. Something's wrong here. So yeah, I had to look into it and find out that I had to add some gluten to it. Matrix Invader, what's up? Glad to see you here. Glad you can make it. Melted marshmallows in butter over popcorn, dries like caramel corn. That shit sounds good, artiste. Yeah, now you're talking my language, dude. Rice Krispie treats with popcorn instead of Rice Krispies? Yeah, no, that sounds good too. Bison jerky. I bet that's good too. I've never had bison. Yeah. Yeah, Mike. Yeah. The people that grew up during Depression, they had it hard, And we grew up basically in luxury compared to them. Even me, growing up as poor as I did, probably grew up in luxury compared to those kids who grew up during the Depression. Oh, that'd be awesome. Butt nuggets, grind your own wheat. Yeah. You know, if you buy a wheat grinder butt nuggets, all right, you listening, dude? It's got to be the one on Conan the Barbarian, the one that you push around in a circle. You know the one I'm talking about, dude. That's the if you're a real hardcore Gen Xer, that's the wheat grinder you would buy. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Buy the same one from Conan the Barbarian, and then you go out whenever your wife tells you. You go out there, and you push that big grinder around. Oh man, I love that scene when Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, that's how he grows up, because they got him as a little kid pushing it, and then a teenager, and then he's, you know, at the end he's a big man pushing that thing. That's awesome. Wheat grinder though, that just brought that image into my head. Nutrimilk Classic. Oh, grew up on a bison ranch? Yeah. All right. Oh, okay. Ram 3500 diesel. Yeah. All right, Rosie. Yeah, that's pretty damn cool, dude. Yeah, the Gen X wheat grinder, dude. Yeah, Rusty. I don't think he's gonna get that one though. I don't think Butt Nuggets will get that one. But still, it's a cool thought though. We could all visualize Butt Nuggets out there pushing that damn big grinder to grind his wheat. Yeah, Oliver. Everybody here likes jerky, right? Oh yeah, make your own pasta, Metal Gear. Yeah. I'd rather make all my own shit. I wish I had time to make more shit, you know? I really do. Oh, a coffee bean grinder? Will it grind it up fine enough underground? Okay. Oh, you do it all the time. All right. All right, everybody. I'm gonna have to call it. I gotta get ready. I still haven't eaten dinner or anything yet, so gotta get ready and eat and get ready to sleep so I can get up and go to work tomorrow. Yeah, this has been a great conversation. I don't know, maybe I missed one somewhere. Somebody somewhere calling me an idiot, but y'all are all been pretty nice to me today, spouting all my ridiculous bullshit when I went off on a couple of tangents. Hopefully I didn't scare Jody off. Hopefully she's still with us, or maybe she'll come back again if she left already. She asked me that question and I went on a rant. I didn't mean to. I did, I just, I figured I would say what I thought. Let's see. We got Fox in the Shed, Butt Nuggets, Laura Ann, Jim Atreides. Am I pronouncing that right, Jim? Jim Atreides, like Dune? Artiste. Thank you, Artiste. You're the man, dude. Yeah, not too sane. Yeah, no, we don't want to be too sane, Loran. That's boring. We're getting into boring shit then. Oliver Rust, Raziel, Bucky, Shannon, Jennifer, Jody, Christopher, Fox in a Shed, Mike Fleisner, my boy Mike, Electronic Music Underground. Did I say Metal Gear already? Oliver Rust, Rusty Doob. I'm probably repeating y'all a couple times here and there, but I'll just thank y'all double for showing up today. Who was that? Matrix Invader? I just saw Matrix Invader, I think. Did I say Artiste already? So, who was that? I just saw somebody. Econo Econo and Cohort. Econ and Cohort. Who else we got? Anyway, so if I missed your name, I apologize, but I really appreciate you coming by. I try to get everybody's name, but and thank everybody, each individual personally, for coming by and hanging out with me. But it's difficult in these, just scrolling through these chats. So if I did miss your name, I apologize, and I do thank you for swinging by and hanging out with us, joining in our awesome conversation. I sincerely appreciate it. Ezekiel, thank you for coming by, Ezekiel. I almost forgot my boy Ezekiel. All right, so tomorrow morning will be a regular pre-recorded video for your pleasure. Kind of touched on some stuff, or it's about some stuff we kind of touched on today, but I still think it'll be worth a watch, hopefully. And then Thursday we'll have some more live streams again, 5 a.m. and then 7 p.m. Eastern time. All right. And let's see. How's my spiel go? Probably y'all could say it better than I could by now. Oh yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there, or the hype button, because if you after the video is live and after it gets processed, I think the hype button will be down there. Oh yeah, and everybody still here, hit the thumbs up button for me if you would, while you're sitting there listening to me sound like a dipshit. If you want to become a member and get your name on the banner here and support the channel that way, that's a really awesome way to support the channel, and I appreciate everybody here on the banner. These folks, some of them have been supporting the channel for over a year, so I just thank these people so much. I really appreciate them. But I'll leave that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. If you're interested in Gen X gear, we got some pretty cool stuff over there at Redbubble. Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded stuff, t-shirts, coffee mug stickers, all kinds of cool stuff. Oh, this is one of those shirts here. Gen X, leave us alone, it says. I've got another one that says the apocalypse wouldn't set me back too far. That's my favorite, I think. But anyway, I'll put that link down in the description too. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out a lot, so thank you very much. And if you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments. Or you can email us, and the email is genxthinks@gmail.com. All right. Christopher. All right, everybody. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for hanging out with me. As always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.